When it comes to a directorial career, very few are as polarizing and yet a cult favorite as Selvaragavan in Tamil cinema. His films have a strong visual language and mostly have the same theme, dealing with change. The change could be in the form of coming of age, like the 4 movies he did with his brother Dhanush. The change could also be characters realizing a responsibility and how they accept it. Or the change of having someone leave their lives and figuring out how to move forward. But recently, Selva has been accused of not undergoing the one thing his movies constantly deal with, change. A change in how he makes his films. What was hailed as eccentric and path-breaking acting in his previous films are now being derided as bad and over-dramatic. His choice of blocking and the way the characters express their emotions and deliver their dialogues have all been criticized more recently. I'm not here to justify whether it was indeed good or bad acting, but rather try to understand how Selva directs his films, and is there a method to the madness? Hi, I'm Kishore, and this is a Moving Images episode on how Selvaragavan directs. One of the things I love in Selva's movies are the song and dance sequences. They always have a unique Selva flair to them in its choreography. And the best part is, they are always part of the main narrative.
நீங்கள் சாங் போயிடுங்க. என்ன சொல்கிறீங்க? ஆமாம், நானே நிறைய பண்ணியிருக்கேன்.
These are not your typical Tamil cinema song sequences where the main story takes a break for the leads to travel to exotic locations, or songs that just play in the background as the story progresses. No, in Selva's movies the songs are part of the narrative that you can't just skip, and this was my first clue in understanding his offbeat directing style. We, the audience, have been conditioned to think that our typical song and dance numbers are fantasy elements where everyone knows the dance steps and the music plays even with no musical instruments inside. This is true for Hollywood musicals too. But this is where Selva's movies stand out. In the world where his movies are set in, the song and dance numbers are not fantasy but part of the story. These people do sing and they do know the dance steps. Let me explain using an example from his recent release, Nenjam Marapadillai. This little song has the lead Ramsey floating in the air as he sings and performs. In any other movie, this would just be a visual choice for a song number, and you wouldn't think that the character is actually capable of floating. But in this movie's climax, it is revealed that he is indeed a supernatural being who can fly. Same for another song in the movie. The characters later acknowledge that they did sing the song for real. The songs and dances are all part of the narrative. Selva also incorporates the song and dance style in the other fantasy element in Indian cinema, the fight sequences. Although not usually seen as a standalone thing such as songs, fight sequences are still something the Tamil audience have come to expect to be a bit unrealistic, even in the most grounded movies. But for Selva, nothing is standalone, hence you will constantly see the character break into a dance while fighting. His fight scenes are choreographed like a dance with characters moving to the beat and in a synchronized way. His characters perform unbelievable stunts in the fight sequence only when the characters themselves are supernatural in nature.
Shut up, Anita. You shut up, you. Who are you calling a bitch? You're the biggest I've ever seen. Yeah, right. At least I'm not romancing a scumbag here. Yeah, right. Shut up, you. Otherwise I'll blow your brains off.
Now with this perspective, we can try to understand how Selva approaches his dialogue scenes. I believe just like the fight sequences, Selva also treats the acting and dialogue scenes like he does a song and dance scene. Hence the exaggerated body language and expressions. But it doesn't stop there. His dialogue scenes always have a pause in between dialogues, and characters wait for the others to finish talking as if they are all choreographed. They never sound like natural conversation where there is a lot of overlap. The characters also express what they feel overtly through the dialogues, similar to how a character would express in a dance. This does not leave any space for nuanced acting or even layered meaning in the dialogues and performance. And if you're not into it, these scenes might come off as bad acting. But I believe it's the way Selva approaches directing. His films have a musicality to them, and he shines best when the characters aren't talking but doing things with their faces and body. As for the change, I think he has indeed changed to a point where he has embraced his style even more and has gone even deeper by blatantly inserting plot points in his song and dance numbers and leaving it to the audience to figure it out which is real. Is it a change for the good? Like all his movies that have been appreciated years after they're released, only time will tell. Until next time, this is Kishore signing off saying,
Hey, Sumara. It's okay. Shit happens. That's life.